Whether it's cars, comics, video games, or violins, there's a little geek in all of us. It's time to give your geek a voice. It's time for Geek Therapy. Here's your host, Johnny Hamburger.
Welcome to Geek Therapy Radio. I'm Johnny Hamburger. To my left here, keep going, fade it. You're supposed to fade it out.
Am I done?
Yeah, that was a good bumper. I wanted you to fade it out.
My first day in radio. Give me a damn break.
Right. I'm Johnny Hamburger, your mental curator for the evening, always. I'm still here. But to my left, I have the beautiful, luxurious, and sexy Nathan. I was going to say your last name, but I'll just say Nate.
All right, that's good. And thank you for the compliment. Appreciate having the opportune.
I like putting my guests on the spot.
To get on here.
I said, Nathan, I'm not going to do any bumper music this show. I'm just going to have you do the bumper music on the guitar.
I'm just going to bump my way to music.
And you freaked out. You're like, oh, I don't know what to play. What am I going to play every time? Just go.
Probably something different.
Just go, man.
Just something different every time is probably what I'm going to do.
That's fine. And if it sucks, I'll just replace it.
No, I just leave it in.
Welcome to Geek Therapy Radio. Nate and I are going to geek out. He's my guest this week. There are two ladies behind us. Nate, move so you can see a lady. There are two ladies behind us.
Better halves?
Monica and Sarah, yes. And they're going to help us out a little bit. Just by sitting there, maybe.
Oh, yes.
Nathan, what did you say? You said they can come and geek out about something they know stuff about.
Well, you always, have prided yourself on your show about geeking out about whatever it is you want to geek out about, whether it be cars, electronics, guitars. And so I just kind of made this suggestion. I mean, no chauvinism implied at all, but totally. And I said, hey, the girls can come on and geek out about tampons. It'd be sweet.
Sarah quickly put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, they shut.
So did Monica.
Shut us down on that one.
Monica was just about to leave, actually.
Pretty fast.
Like,
I almost had to Uber home.
I'm peacing out of here. Well, speaking of Ubering home, we are having a couple of brewskis.
A couple of brews. Let's touch tips.
Touch tips?
Yep.
Play swords? Cross streams?
Yes.
All right, so I thought we'd start off, since we're a few minutes into it and haven't talked about anything geeky yet. I was just given by Santa Sarah, if listeners remember last week, I got a Nintendo Switch. I say finally, because it's
been out a little while.
Been out for a year, and actually, when Sarah said, she's like, why don't you just ask for a Switch for Christmas? Maybe Santa will bring it to you. I was like, I don't want to ask for it because it's hard to find and expensive.
It's true.
But mostly it's hard to find, and I don't want you to be like cruising around every store. So she said, Santa Sarah said, that she did cruise to a couple stores.
I did?
Yeah. In Virginia.
In Virginia?
And then she bought it online, which I'm surprised she was able to get it online.
You know what's funny is when I got mine about 6 or 7 months ago, and when I bought mine, I didn't buy mine in Texas either.
I thought you said you went up to Conroe.
No, I think I was in Oklahoma when I bought it.
Oklahoma.
But did you just where'd you get it? GameStop or something?
No, I went to Best Buy, and you know what? You're right. I did get it in Conroe.
Okay. But that's right, because I remember
I just remember driving a distance that wasn't like 10 minutes from my house to go buy it.
Like Conroe, exactly. Conroe, Oklahoma.
It felt like Oklahoma, damn it, all right?
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half from wherever you are. But did you just go into bestbuy.com or something and type in who's got a Switch?
Yeah, so I jumped online, checked inventories around, saw that they had 2 units, called to verify they actually had them, and then, jumped in the car with my daughter and hauled ass up there and bought it.
You heard it here, folks. Nathan has 2 units.
No, I don't.
Which is
this was 7 months ago. I don't have any units. Don't call me.
His units are taken.
Both
Both of Nathan's units are spoken for.
Both units are owned by Monica.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about Nintendo?
I think we derailed a little bit.
I think we got off the track.
So, one thing I noticed, I didn't really think about this when I got the Switch, is there's no Netflix on it yet. There's no YouTube, there's no web browser. And I went off on I went off the rails last week talking about, I just assumed they would have Netflix. Right. It doesn't make it
make it a
bad machine at all.
It doesn't. I still enjoy the crap out of it, but here's the thing.
You should still buy one. If you find one, you should still buy one right now, even though it doesn't have Netflix yet.
Definitely. You kind of talked about Netflix and YouTube a lot more than you touched on the Google Play Store idea because it is based on an Android OS. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Somebody who, like me, I travel quite a bit, right? And I obviously take my Switch when I fly because I want to be entertained and play my games when I'm sitting on the plane. But you know what really annoys me is I can't, download the United app and be able to stream the movies that they have via Wi-Fi on the plane. So I don't have to carry another device just to simply watch, the streamable movies because now the airlines are moving towards that type of service more than like the screens in the back of your seat. So that would be another reason why to offer, the Google Play Store to enable customers to be able to download Android-based apps and use their systems.
I was thinking about having, about the Google Play Store idea, and I'll get to that in a second. The Seattle Mariners in the stadium, when you're watching the Mariners play, they used 3DSs that you could rent or whatever, and you could just sit at your seat and order drinks and stuff with the 3DS.
Yeah, so
and I think the Louvre in Paris, when you walk around, you can listen to the little recorder. They was like 3DSs.
Just like when you do the Alcatraz tours, you walk around, they've got the radio.
Right, but some places were actually using a 3DS. So it would be cool if an airline, got into a partnership with Nintendo.
Well,
and said, "Here's a Switch in every seat."
That would be an even more exclusive thing than just say Nintendo going out and being like, "All right, we're gonna, incorporate Google Play because it's super easy."
Okay.
And you can download whatever airline app you want or whatever. I mean.
Right. So about the Google Play, I said I was going to get back to that. And I was thinking about that. Obviously, the reason why they're not going to do that is it's the same reason why
because they suck.
Well, no, it would be awesome, I think. But the reason they didn't do that is I think Nintendo was dead set on. Oh, you're playing your douche flute?
I'm hitting the douche flute.
All right. So Nintendo wanted to release the system that was only play their games because they wanted to establish, I think.
True.
Here's the games, and it was a good move on their part because I haven't played Breath of the Wild yet, Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's awesome.
But it was like Game of the Year. It's a launch title, and it was already like the #1 video game in 2017. So I think that's what Nintendo's doing. They just had
How have you
Mario
not played
Odyssey.
that game yet?
Because I just got a Switch,
How are
and
you
I don't
gonna
have a Wii U either.
We're playing Tetris instead.
How are you going to
Yeah.
have the Switch and already have 10 hours of Rocket League logged, but you don't even have Zelda yet? I saw your profile.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah. We can leave that in because it's not me saying it. Hey, my pizza's ready. So anyways, what tipped me over to get the Switch was when Rocket League was announced for it. I was at a house party and I told Sarah, I was like, well, I got to get a Switch now because Rocket League comes out in November. Like, I have to get it. Also, Street Fighter,
saw that too.
Ultra Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they came out with Street Fighter. That was already getting me on board. Oh, they came out with the Rocket League. I was like, I got no choice now. I have to get a Switch because it has Rocket League. But no, I have not played Breath of the Wild. Going back to the point of Google Play Store and why Nintendo didn't have that on the Switch, even though the kernel is based on Android. It's not.
Right.
I thought it was just a skin over Android. It's not really.
It seems different a little bit when I'm playing it.
It's based on Android, like an Android kernel, but it is not Android. It is a proprietary. Think about it this way. It's like 90% proprietary Nintendo, but it's based on Android. But you can't root your Switch. Probably yet. Someone's going to figure out
Someone's
how to
going to do it. I can't wait to
Switch.
meet the guy that Bricks is.
Yeah. So, well, there's $300 right down the
$300
tube.
paperweight you got there.
So anyways, Nintendo didn't want to put the Google Play Store on it, I bet, because they didn't want the competition of all the games and apps and stuff. Nintendo said, we want to establish our own stuff first.
People would come out with ways to develop games that would undermine the stuff that Nintendo's putting out, so then people wouldn't be buying Nintendo games.
Right.
They would just be buying the system and then finding ways around having to buy their games. So I get it from a marketing standpoint why they wouldn't do it. But it'd be nice to dream that,
soon. I think this year.
I think Netflix definitely, and YouTube
for
probably.
Sure. Web browser.
A web browser of some sort will definitely come into the mix for the system at some point. But, like you said, the Google Play thing with just free range of the apps probably never will.
Maybe... I don't think it's ever going to happen, but if it did happen, it might be like towards the end of the life cycle of the Switch in the next 5 years.
I think it's going to last
that.
a long time, to be honest, because of its portability. And here's my other thing too.
Okay, what's your other thing?
There hasn't really been a big jump by third-party developers into producing games either exclusively for the Switch or porting them over from other consoles. There's been a few, like NBA 2K came out. Doom, okay.
Skyrim.
Where's Madden? Okay, that's
It'll
what
get there.
I want. I want friggin' Madden.
You're right. And
I want to sit on a plane or in a car in traffic when I'm not driving.
Yeah. Just have it on your steering wheel.
Just so everyone's aware and clear. Not while I'm driving.
Yeah.
And I want to play friggin' Madden with updated rosters and the whole 9 yards. And
Get it?
I don't know when.
The whole 9 yards of Madden?
I made a pun there on purpose, people.
Football.
Pun intended.
So,
But yeah.
we'll wrap up this segment. I want to bring up the third party thing in the beginning of the next segment. Yes, Nathan, that is your cue to softly play something on the guitar. Softly. If you don't know what to do, just do cage sequence C. We'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio. I'm Johnny Hamburger, joined by Nate, my guest this week. Playing our bump music out. Geek Therapy on Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook.
Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram.
Geek Therapy
Radio on YouTube.
YouTube.
GeekTherapyRadio.com.
Correct. I'm gonna have Sarah do an official read of all those social medias, but we'll be right back. More Geek Therapy Radio. Johnny and Nate coming back at you in just a couple minutes. I gotta talk at the same time. Welcome back to Geek Therapy Radio. It's hard to talk and sing at the same time because you want to sing like on the key, on the beat. I'm Johnny Hamburger. I'm playing the bump music right now. Mental curator, I've got Nathan to my left, and he's helping me. Don't jack that up. He's helping me with the show this week, so I'm just going to stop playing because it's real hard to talk and play at the same time if you're not talking.
That was really angelic.
If you're not talking on the rhythm. So we were talking about the Switch in Google Play Store, and we left off on third-party apps and what's out for the Switch yet, and that there aren't many. I think there's enough. I think for right now. I think there's enough for right now because of Skyrim, because of Doom, and even well, those are ports. That's not really.
Yeah,
but it's not
developed
Nintendo
for the system. It's just a port. But to me, it doesn't matter. I mean,
same deal. It's not
get
Nintendo.
Good games on the console.
Right. And I think it's going to happen. I think Madden's going to happen, and I think a lot of AAA titles are going to be ported to the Switch.
Do you think? Okay.
Because they've sold like 10 million or 20 million units.
They've sold a lot.
And that's what they're waiting for. They weren't releasing all that stuff for like the Wii U and all that stuff because the Wii U sucked. It didn't sell in comparison to the
here's
Switch.
the thing. The reason the Wii U didn't sell like they wanted it to is because it's not like the Switch. It's not all in on the portable aspect of gaming.
But
let me also
where's my
say
hat?
this. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but the Switch has expandable storage, right? You can put a micro SD card in that.
Right, keep going.
And my thing is, I don't know if you've noticed, but NBA 2K, it requires you to have the micro SD card in order to play the game because the game is so large.
Right.
So my question to you is do you see that being a trend going forward with game developers and games that come out? Is that going to be something that we're going to see more and more often, needing that extra storage and that micro SD card to play a game? For at
least the next year, because Nintendo is developing a 64 gig cartridge. The cartridges you buy right now are 32 gigs. Mm-hmm. So games like LA Noire that just came out is huge. You buy the cartridge and then you need an additional like 20 gigs to download the thing.
That's the same thing with NBA.
And there's plenty of games like that. You get the cartridge, you still need 9 gigs worth of.
So it's like, my thing is like, I understand why they got to do it. Obviously, the math is there. 32 gigs, bigger than that. Okay, got to need more space. But say you're a kid, you've got this Switch, and you're like, hey, mom, dad, can you guys pop for this game? Well, they got a pop for an SD card now too. So it's like, okay, I got to buy a $60 game and then buy a $40 SD card.
Right. I put
That's
$100. I put a 128 gig in mine.
Is that the largest it'll take, or will it take bigger?
I think it goes up. It takes technically it takes up to 2 terabytes.
Because they make I found a 200 gig micro SD card on Amazon just the other night when I was looking.
It'll work. It'll work. I think
I wasn't sure if it worked, so I didn't go with it.
Like physically and technically, the protocol allows for up to like 2 terabytes. Is there a 2 terabyte micro SD card? I don't think there. I think there's a 1 terabyte or 1.5
we can
now.
dream, right?
Plus like $3,000.
Because that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I just get one of those and put it in my computer.
A thumbnail. Yeah. I don't need a.
I don't need a hard drive.
Well, it won't be quite as fast as a solid state or NVMe.
Or an M.2.
But so, anyways, the Nintendo is.
Let's not get off track here.
Right. Well, we can geek out about whatever. We'll talk about your douche flute. Nintendo is developing the 64 gigabyte card, but they've run into some sort of snag, and I don't know exactly what the snag is. I don't think they've revealed exactly what it is, because 64 gig cartridges already exist. SD cards, they exist. 64 gig is probably fairly average now. Like if you got a DSLR or something like that, 64 gig is the way to go.
Right. Because we need room for 5,000 photos.
Right. So Nintendo's developing it. They've come up with some sort of snag. I don't know what it is. I think it has everything to do with software and code and stuff like that. I don't know. But they said, yeah, we're probably another year out before we get 64 gig cards because of those games. Because people are like, why don't I just download the game? If I need to buy a cartridge and then put it in and then download 10 more gigs of data, why would I even go to the store to buy the physical cartridge? So they're working on the 64 gigabyte cards. So roundabout way of getting back to this, there are going to be more third-party developers developing games like Madden and stuff and bringing it to the Switch because they cannot deny it. EA, and Ubisoft and everybody who makes games can't deny that. Wow, there's 20 million people with this, with a Switch. So they didn't do that for the Wii U. It's like, wow, I don't know. Somebody.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna correct you later.
Correct me in the comments below. I don't know exactly how many Wii U's, but it's nowhere near the Switch. And oh yeah, I remember what I said. Nathan, I remember.
What?
Nintendo has been throwing so much crap at the fan over the last let's say 20 years of console development, not even 20 years, maybe last 10 years. So the Nintendo DS was a big experiment. No one knew how that would go. The Wii was a big experiment. No one knew how that would go, and it went pretty well. The Wii was pretty good. The 3DS, right when the 3DS came out, even before people even saw the 3D of it, they said that's just a gimmick. That's not, what is Nintendo doing that's not going to work? And I agree, it didn't work. 3D was cool to show your friends, look at that. And then when you're playing it, you turned it off and you just played 2D again. It was it was stupid, but
it was like putting carbon fiber on your engine cover under your hood.
Right. It's just exactly no one's going to use it. It looks neat.
Who gives a crap?
It looks neat, but it doesn't help anything. And if anything, it hurts your eyes more than anything. And there's all these disclaimers all over the games. Children under 7 should not be using 3D and all this kind of stuff.
They won't be able to feed themselves.
So it's like using 3D will hurt you.
Oh my goodness, that is.
So Nintendo's been throwing so much crap at the fan, trying stuff, and it's failed. Like Wii U was a failure in terms of sales and stuff like that. They've been trying this stuff, but it's all culminated to the Switch. Right. They were trying these different things because they knew that eventually it'll pay off. Eventually we'll land on something, having learned from all these previous consoles.
And let's take a pause right there and talk about what Nintendo learned.
What did they learn? Rewind.
Okay, a little bit of backstory. I've known Johnny for more than 20 years.
You see me naked more than you see me clothed.
More than one occasion.
Not original.
But listen, some of the things that Nintendo learned were based on research Johnny and I did when we were younger. And part of that research was playing countless hours on Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Oh my goodness.
Now, if you don't know what Virtual Boy is, you need to educate yourself.
Yeah.
Because this thing was the sweetest machine I had ever seen in my life. I mean, it looked like...
In concept.
It looked like night vision goggles on a pitchfork.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all in 3D, and it was all in red and black, and you looked into these goggles and played. And I remember Wario Tennis, man. That game was the bomb.
There were, I don't know if it was Wario.
And the reason it bombed is because people like us were playing it for 10 hours a day, and then after like a month of playing this thing, we couldn't put food to our mouths because our depth perception was screwed.
And we would need these big, thick,
Yeah, those big, giant glasses.
thick glasses.
Pretty sure Nintendo owes you a check.
Yeah. Yeah, Nintendo.
But anyway, what was awesome is the system totally flopped. We thought it was totally cool. And then after like 2 years, you can go to GameStop and pick up games for like $0.25.
Yup.
And what's funny
You
is
could,
that
you could buy the console for like $20. It was like $300 when it came out, and then like 2 years, like not even, no, it was like 6 months later.
it
like
was
$20.
not very long. I mean,
Please just get it
was
off our
like
shelf.
instant cheapo
Yeah.
games. But what's funny is I remember laughing about reading the stories about the whole depth perception thing, and maybe some of it was folklore and myth, but I'm sure there was probably where there's smoke, there's me. What is smoke? There's fire. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
I'm sure there was some truth to some of that somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
And I just remember laughing about it with you in the car, and your mom's driving us to school. But there was never any mention of quit playing that. It was, it was like, whatever, y'all are gonna go blind one way or the other.
I was already blind.
Yeah,
like
that's
I already
true.
had glasses.
That might be the reason why.
I remember when HD TV came out. Was I saying it to my dad or my brothers or something like that? We got an HD TV. It was like 2008, and I said, "See, you guys." This is like me seeing standard definition for the first time. It's
Right,
my glasses.
yeah.
I was like, you guys are probably seeing some like ultra high definition or whatever. I bet you, since my eyes are so bad and the TV is just for me the TV is just merely no longer blurry. Like
Right.
I could see the people on the TV now. So HD to me was like standard
Well, that's
def
kind of like
for
how
the past
I've
60
gotten,
years.
In the past, because on my gaming PC rig, I went to 1440p at 144 hertz. So now when I see anything in standard 1080, I'm like, ugh. I squint at it and I'm like, man, it's so blurry.
You're the 1440p master race, 144 hertz, whatever. You know what? I still 1080.
I don't know how you do it, man.
1080.
Can you even see anything at
Yes.
60 hertz?
Yes.
Does your eyes even recognize
60
that
hertz
stuff?
is so buttery smooth, and I don't
Buttery smooth.
want to look at 120 or
I want to get an
144
Acer
because it's
Predator
gonna.
that has 165 hertz. But I'm not going to spend
It's gonna
$900 for a 20-inch screen, so...
Here's why I'm hesitant to jump into the 120 hertz standard 1440p
'Cause you don't wanna
20
be elite?
120. No, it's not because I want to be a pleb forever. It's because it's the same reason once you get a solid state drive for your computer.
Yeah.
Using a computer with a regular hard drive.
Right, it no longer seems... I
It's
understand
hell
where you're
on
going.
earth.
You don't want to go to the Switch and then be like, oh my god, I have to change all my monitors.
See,
But I only have one monitor that runs at plus 120 hertz, and that's what I game on. And then I got another monitor that's still in 1440p, but it's 60 hertz, and that's kind of like what I throw up all my regular crap on that I, don't care. It's not motion blurring or anything like that.
well, see, I don't play stuff like CS:GO.
Neither do I.
Okay.
It's a toxic community, by the way. Stay away from it.
Oh my! Let's get into that next segment. Nathan,
Man.
play some music, and we'll get into the
Crap.
next segment. You're listening to Geek Therapy Radio. Nate's still to my left.
I don't...
Monica and Sarah are behind us, and Jack and the cat. Nate's playing us out. Stay tuned. More Geek Therapy Radio to come. Geek Therapy Radio Facebook, Geek Therapy Radio Instagram, Geek Therapy Radio YouTube,
GeekTherapyRadio.com.
GeekTherapyRadio.kizup. Geek Therapy Radio KPRC on Twitter. Actually, it says Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. Don't worry about the Twitter. I never look at it. More Geek Therapy Radio coming up. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Geek Therapy Radio. I'll be your crying shoulder. I'll be love suicide. I'll be better when I'm older. I forget the rest of the lyrics on the fly. Welcome back to Geek Therapy Radio. Nathan is going to ramp the volume down a little bit. Which reminds me, Nathan is right there to my left, to your right, if you're watching this on YouTube. And depending how your speakers are set up in your car or your stereo or whatever, Nathan might be to my right or left. I don't know. Check your cables, geeks. So I was going to get back into the segment. I'm Johnny Hamburger, by the way. Hit all the social media. You know what it is. Nate said I burped. So what did you say? I burped. I shook a
said
window.
You burped so loud one time, you shook a window. I remember.
Okay. Well, I burped so loud another time. I was playing Super Mario Brothers 3 on the NES. The ladies are in there making liquor, Jack and Cokes. So I was playing NES, Super Mario Brothers 3. I was little, and I had never gotten to Bowser. I had never gotten to the final boss. Because World 8, I hated World 8. It sucked because remember that little hand would like grab you down into the level? You go across the squares, and if you get across it without pulling you down, like, oh, you hit the lottery.
Right.
Whenever you get to like the second square and the hand would and pull you down, like, damn it all anyway, it's going to be some super hard level. So I got to Bowser, and I was fighting Bowser, and I let the biggest, raunchiest burp of almost my entire life.
Did it stink?
And it reset the Nintendo. I got the black gray, black gray flashing on the screen. I was like, no! I burped so loud that the Nintendo could be very finicky with the pins and the connectors.
Right. You could breathe on it wrong and it would reset the game.
So yeah, someone walking by would reset the game. So I burped so loud, I guess it shook the case enough. For anyone listening and doubting, there's no way you could have done that. Well, I guess what? Anyone who's doubting, you are definitely like younger than 20 years old. Because the old school NES would give you the black-gray screen of death with the drop of a feather.
I remember sometimes when we couldn't get a game to work, you would load the cartridge in, start pressing down, but still have the cartridge out a little bit so it would catch the plastic before you pop it down, and you would pop it down.
Yeah.
Sometimes that would make it work. I mean, you would do anything to get the game to work after a while, but...
You would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man gotta do what a man
I
gotta
would
do.
have made a hair doll out of a Nintendo if I thought it would have made the games work better.
What in the Sam hell are you talking about? So what was physically happening, Nathan and other geeks? I touched Nathan.
Did you touch Eric like this when he was on?
No, he was across the room though.
Okay.
Here's what's going on with the pins and connectors of a cartridge. It's metal on metal.
Right.
There's like 30 pins, and I don't know what a Nintendo cartridge was. Someone's gonna type in the comments.
Someone's gonna send you a.
It was 24 pins, you idiot. Good for you. Anyways, it's 24 metal pins that were very susceptible to oxidation and dust and stuff like that. So you had to have a good connection. So the act of blowing in it and whatever,
Never did anything.
that at best got rid of like large dust particles.
It's like a placebo effect, really.
But what was happening was that inserting and reinserting over and over, Nathan,
Yep.
would clean the contacts.
It would clean it, definitely, for sure.
So then you'd hit the button.
You'd have good surface-to-surface conclusion.
There'd be good connectivity in conducting.
Continuity.
Continuity.
It'd be solid. Pretty much is what we're saying.
You'd have a solid connection between all the pins and all the receptacles, and the game would work.
Off.
Right. My little ass off.
That's right. Until you belch. Then you're screwed.
Just a little. Oh, my goodness. Until you burp so loud that you reset the game. I want to maybe get off Nintendo for a little bit.
All right, let's go.
We don't have to.
Where are we going?
Here's a really good one. I was reading an article, I forget where, probably Ars Technica. The WHO, the World Health Organization, is deciding and debating whether or not to call gaming addiction
Oh, I saw this.
An actual
definitive medically declared disease. I think it's ridiculous.
I think.
I'm just gonna. I'm stating my position.
Okay,
right.
No. I'll disagree somewhat. In the long run, I do think it's ridiculous, but let me get to why I think it. At first, I think it's. It's real. It's a real thing, and then why it is ridiculous.
Okay. Before you dive into all that, can I just state real quick why I think it's ridiculous? Okay?
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's ridiculous because since they're declaring it a medical diagnosed condition, that means that people can actually get paid disability to sit on their ass and play video games.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why I hate it. All right,
I'm just staving off the shakes.
Yeah, man. I'm a survivor, bro. Let me reset this switch real quick. Mom, where's the meatloaf?
Okay. So
seriously? Go ahead.
So in that regard, yeah, I don't like that. It twerks me the wrong way.
Get another 500 next month. Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Someone's sitting there on disability, playing Madden, kind of like.
Right.
Oh, like okay. That's. That's ridiculous. I think gaming addiction is a very real thing because people can get addicted to anything.
True.
So, but that's why I think gaming addiction is an actual real thing. I've known relationships to be ended over gaming addiction because the girlfriend or wife would walk out in something sexy and the guy would be like, "Get out of the way! I'm playing Call of Duty or something."
And that's a little. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's obviously the guy's more interested in the game than he is his wife or whatever.
But that's the definition of addiction: is you're putting other parts of your life on hold and.
But to get it diagnosed, they're saying that like people are choosing video games over stuff that's gonna like impact your health, your life, like.
Right.
Yeah, for your health.
For your health.
You're gonna die if you don't do this. I'd rather make my Madden Ultimate Team tonight than go get that pancreas looked at. And that's where they're like saying, hey, you've got a gaming addiction, just like with any other type of addiction, whether it be drugs or alcohol. Like you don't care what it does.
Right.
You're gonna do X.
So that is the argument against people saying calling it gaming addiction specifically is a ridiculous diagnosis to make, because what it really is it's not the fact that you're addicted to gaming specifically, it's that you have an addictive personality. There's something else underneath there, because all gaming is, if you're addicted to gaming, like most other addictions, it's like a dopamine rush.
Right.
It releases dopamine in your brain, and you're constantly searching that. And just like a drug, not just like it, but like heroin, the first high is great, and then you keep trying to chase it because it gets less and less.
You're losing it, so you
just
do more to keep it on and keep it going and whatnot.
And you just hate yourself. And
now here's something that's going to really, knock your noodle. Right?
Nathan, you can knock my noodle whenever you want.
Okay, take myself for example. I'm married.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
To a very beautiful woman, by the way.
She's right behind you.
Right behind me. So let's say I'm an admitted addicted gamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm addicted to gaming. Addict. Let's say we have a baby. Is my baby predisposed to gaming addiction?
He's talking about something.
No,
serious.
see, that's the thing. That's why it's ridiculous, because it's not
Like, is my baby gonna come out of my wife holding a Nintendo 64 controller?
Yeah, playing a Switch.
What?
You got to switch Joy-Con.
The Switch is coming!
Mario.
What if
Me, Mario. It's a
what
me,
if the
baby.
Mario coin sound like came out when she gave birth? Ta-ding! As it came out, that'd be pretty friggin' sweet.
And every time the kid bumps his head, it's the sound of Sonic losing its
Or when he
rings.
gets hurt and falls off his bike, it's na 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 na. You know, like when he gets hurt.
It's when like Mario falls down a pit.
When he gets shot down asking a girl out.
Aw.
Yeah. So okay. So
Anyway.
I agree. I think gaming addiction is an actual real thing. I think the World Health Organization designating and specifying a
Right, I
specific.
think that does negative things more than positive.
Right. I agree, because I agree that it's not. It's
I
just.
think it's just a social condition.
It's a real
my
thing.
opinion.
Gaming addiction is a real thing, but there is something underlying that causes the gaming addiction, because that person could get addicted to something else. People are addicted to a Sudoku. You can say
People are
Sudoku
addicted to
addiction.
eating bricks.
Yeah.
Have you-
My weird fetish?
Yeah, I
People
watched that show one
people
time.
eating drywall?
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Oh man, the guy eating bricks,
There's one that's worse than that, but go on.
he doesn't. They're all like nubs, and he just eats bricks, like 4 or 5 bricks a day. I was like, wow, this
Tasty.
guy's wife must love him, because anything she makes, he's gonna be like, I love it, because he loves eating bricks.
Or he's going to be
I
like,
mean-
or she's going to make some fabulous meal. He's like, it's not as good as a brick.
Have you? And the second thought I had when I saw that show and the guy was eating bricks was, what does his bowel movements feel like? I mean,
Ooh,
good lord.
literally.
I mean, it really would.
I got to beep out my girlfriend.
Yeah, you do. It really would bring a whole new meaning to that saying, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally are crapping out a brick.
I'll just say it because Sarah said it, because I'm going to beep it out anyways. Shitting a brick.
Yeah.
Grandma's
That guy totally brings that saying.
Okay, so there was one worse than any. I saw it was a girl. I think it was a woman, who her strange addiction, and this is geek therapy radio, so maybe this is therapeutic to somebody.
Maybe.
But her
Monica and
her addiction, her strange addiction was her husband died. I think it was her husband or her boyfriend died, and he was cremated. And she would just be sitting there with the urn, just dipping her finger in the urn.
Don't.
Eating it. Yep.
Like it's a freaking. It's like one of the, what's that candy that you had, that plastic dipper or that
Fun Dip.
Fun Dip. Yeah.
I
She was
snorted Fun Dip one time. Anyway, that's another story. Keep
did you
going.
feel?
I did it with your brother. It was hilarious. Middle school basketball game, like blue boogers and all. Anyway, continue.
Okay, so Nate snorted Fun Dip.
I did.
That's Nate's strange addiction.
With your brother.
With my brother. Okie dokie. So this girl would just be fun dipping her ex-husband.
Wow. Ex-husband.
Well,
Like, okay,
Did
so
they divorce before he died?
well, when they're dead, I guess it's.
Not
She was a
technically
widow.
right.
I think she was a widow.
Her
Point
late
is,
husband.
She was eating
Let's
a
get
deceased.
PC up in this hizzy, okay?
She was eating ashes of a dead human.
Is the field goal good?
Here's the thing. Yes. What? Listen. Ashes. When someone's burned, it's not just ash in there.
They turn into Fun Dip.
Most of them is Fun Dip at that point, but there's still some. There's bone in there.
Right,
There's chunks
there's all
of bone.
kinds of
There's
stuff
like
in there.
chunks of teeth. Like they grind it up somehow, but there's still bone in there.
And-
Don't ask me exactly how I know. I was doing something meaningful.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't eating it.
We don't have to go there.
I was spreading ashes. You can
Sure.
say that. Spreading
Okay.
ashes. So it's not. It's not.
no, we're not.
It's not just dust. So what I
Right.
wonder with that lady who's eating her dead ex or her dead husband or dead boyfriend, whatever, is like, what you come to the like a part of the femur, like
I guess she just pops
you
it back.
can't just chew like yeah.
I mean, she just
swallow
takes
like a pill or something.
I mean,
like
honestly,
that?
I'd be
Gross.
disappointed if she didn't, because I'd be like, you're gonna eat half of them and then just blink or pause at the part where you have a little chunk of bone. I mean, come on, give me a break. You've gone this far. Just go ahead and toss it back like an Advil and get it over with.
Go big or go home. If you're eating out of an urn, just pound it.
That's right.
Make chocolate milk with it, like South Park style. Just
There you go. Rich chocolatey Ovaltine.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about in that segment. That's a good place to end it because we got a few minutes left for the last segment. Nate, play us out. That was probably the weirdest segment we've ever done on Geek Therapy Radio, but we'll be right back with more. Got Nate to my left. I'm Johnny Hamburger. Monica's back there. Sarah's back there. We'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio in just a couple minutes. Stick around. Just Google Geek Therapy Radio and follow, like, and subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll come to your house and give you a kiss on the cheek. More Geek Therapy Radio coming up. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Geek Therapy Radio. Big hand for Nathan providing the bump music. Stone Temple Pilots right there, I believe.
Are you correct?
STP, creep. So yeah, this show has been crazy so far. That last segment talking about, what were we talking, like eating doo-doo or something?
Man,
People.
we were talking
people.
about
Husband.
eating people,
Strange addictions.
and doing strange things.
And whether or not gaming was like a real
Was a real addiction.
definitive addiction. I think it is a real addiction. I think
Yeah.
it being labeled as a specific treatable disease. Because you're right. How would they treat it?
How would they treat it?
Disability, $500 a month to sit there playing
Think
Madden.
about this. How would they treat a gaming addiction?
They'd have to wean.
You know
they'd
what
have
they
to
would
wean
do?
you off.
You know
of
what
it.
they would do? This is how they would treat a gaming addiction. They would subject you to only being able to play Ubisoft early access releases, because then it would frustrate you and piss you off so much that you would no longer want to play video games.
Right. And on that note, here's a real fact: the United States of freaking America, in 2017, shot the most loads into space than any other country
Huh? What?
since 2003.
You mean like that guy that was in space for a year? What's his
Elon
name?
Musk has shot more loads into space.
Jeez, man, we were on two
and that
different.
put us on top.
We were on two different planes right there, buddy. You were on one plane talking about Elon Musk shooting actual loads of cargo into space.
Yes.
I was
Loads of
on another
cargo.
plane thinking about this guy that spent a year in space, and I was thinking like, well,
The Chris
something
Pratt
complete-
movie. Now Sarah's gonna jump in here because we're talking about
He's on TV right now.
her boyfriend. I thought
Anyway.
that Chris Pratt movie was just going to be. Never mind.
I thought it was a
That's
good
dumb.
movie. That's neither here nor there.
But really, the United States has sent more. We've launched more things into
space vehicles
for the
into
first,
space.
for the first time in the world, out of all countries.
How many launches did we do? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head how many we did. I just know that
Somebody will
USA we did the most.
We did the most, huh?
And Elon Musk, he's sending the Falcon 7 or whatever, the big rocket. It's the
Yeah.
biggest rocket since the Saturn V rocket. He's sending it up to do orbit around Mars. And what is the payload that he's sending up to do a billion-year orbit around Mars? Usually what NASA would do and other agencies would do would just, because they have to simulate the weight of cargo in these test flights, they have to simulate the weight of the cargo, so they just use a big concrete block or something like that. Elon Musk said, screw that, I'm putting one of my new Tesla Roadsters in there, and it's just going to be in orbit around Mars for a billion years. And there's no reason for it, and they asked him, why would you do that? And he's like, because boring companies are the worst companies. Like,
Yeah.
I got to put something in there. I might as well, like, put
something
a
cool.
car in there, put an electric vehicle in there, just going to be around orbit of Mars for billions of years. Because that vehicle, not the Roadster is not going to get us to Mars,
No, of course not.
but the rocket's going to get us to Mars. He's testing that technology to see if that will be the vehicle that takes humans to Mars. And so instead of simulating the weight with concrete or something boring, he's using a freaking electric car. Just because, literally, just because. There's no other explanation than that. He's
Well,
like,
I mean,
we needed
he's Elon
something, we'll
Musk.
put a
He can
car
do
in
whatever
there.
he wants just because. I mean,
And for those who don't know, Elon Musk made his fortune. Nathan, do you know where he made his fortune?
I know I've heard it before, but I don't want to misspeak.
PayPal.
So, PayPal.
Elon Musk wasn't like, he didn't invent any. He's using his money for good. Like, he's hired
Sure.
the best engineers and scientists around the world to do amazing things. Not SpaceX, Tesla Motors, the Hyperloop.
Right.
His other company is called the Big Bore. It's gonna be the company that bores the tunnels, like for Hyperloop. The company's called the Big Bore. Anyways, so he made his wealth off of PayPal. He sold PayPal and got his billions off of that
So
one
he
freaking
was,
sale.
Like the original owner of PayPal.
He created
Created
PayPal.
it? He was the creator of PayPal.
Probably in college or something, created PayPal, then sold it to who he sold it to, Google or
I think
something,
Google owns it now, but
for billions of dollars. So that's how Elon Musk made his original fortune. I'm sure he's not suffering now.
no, I think he's good.
I think he's okay.
He's solid. If he's launching X amount of loads into space every year, I think he's solid.
Yeah, good for him. He doesn't need. Yeah,
He doesn't need federal funding to go to space.
I'm gonna get off that. Okay,
Anyway.
so by the way, this has been the first Geek Therapy Radio of 2018.
I feel pretty privileged to be able to be your guest for the first show in 2018, and quite frankly, I was looking at the list of episodes, and we're coming up pretty close to only a few more months before you've been doing this for a year.
At 52, yeah.
Yeah, not too long.
I got to think about that because 52.
March 10th.
52.
I'll help you. March 10th was your first aired episode.
Is it?
This is a true
Yeah.
fan here.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you can't
There's a
be
shirt that says-
a fan.
He's
without
seen me
being-
naked,
The
like-
super fans.
It says
Let's not get into that.
Think I'm having a heart attack.
Mix a baker's dozen for me.
Oh, what's that number? That's the Baker's dozen. The Bears.
Stop bears.
The
Bowl of
Bears.
sa-
The Bears.
bowl
The
of
Bears. The Bears. The
sausage.
Bears. Pulling his
He's spiraling to death.
bulls.
Alright,
Bowl of sausage.
just having another heart attack.
He coughs up a whole steak.
It was a link. It was a whole link like of
It was a
sausage.
steak. It was a whole
It was-
T-bone
that's
steak. He
right, it
coughs
was a
up
whole
a T-bone. Okay, so
this
this
doesn't for me.
this is the first Geek Therapy Radio of the year. We got a couple minutes left. I'm going to ask Nate a quick question. And ladies, you can chime in if you want.
All right. shoot.
Because it's about implants.
Implants of what?
Microchips.
Okay.
Not ass or boobs.
I
or-
knew better than the.
Did you see that Russian guy who got like implants in his arms and they got it all infected and he
Oh,
just
you're talking about
ridiculous.
synthol.
Well, I'm not talking about synthol here. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
my geek brain went off on a tangent. There's some
All right.
Russian guy who injected
I
himself
didn't
with
see that.
whatever.
I've seen the synthol injects where they like turn to rocks and they just look ridiculous.
Well, this guy, he's skinny. He's like skinnier than me, which is crazy. But his arms are just. huge, but they're all black and purple and like
geez.
hanging off his bones.
Yeah.
Like it's horrible. He's
It's not
probably
good.
gonna have to get
He's
his
probably
arms
gonna lose his arms and
amputated. It's dumb. Like, why would you be?
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's an actual illness. That's
an
like
addiction.
a mental illness.
That's an addiction right there. You're willing to destroy your body in order to achieve something that makes you feel good.
But like not even proportionally.
Right, no. I
Like
know.
not even like you didn't get injected everywhere. Just his arms. He's just this
Just his
stick
arms,
figure
right.
with giant
Yeah.
arms that are now black and purple and falling off his
Literally
body.
looks like Popeye.
So, what I'm talking about are microchip implants, Mark of the Beast type stuff.
Ah.
Would you? There's something like in the United States, or
Right.
there's a couple 100,000 people now with RFID.
RFID
Implants.
chips, implanted in their wrists or something, right? So they can like make
It's
purchases. And
basically
stuff
so
like
they go to work, beep themselves into work, and they can pay for purchases like in the cafeteria at work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not like actual. It's not yet actual like credit card information.
Right.
For public use, like you can't walk into
right.
Kroger.
I can't walk into Kroger, scan my wrist, and buy my groceries and walk out. I get it.
That's a little for me. That's a little too invasive.
Are you asking me if I'd be
Would
up
you do
for
it?
getting one if, say, that became available? Like
Right, but
instead of using my smartphone and using
anything else that's
whatever,
easier than getting
just-
injected
right,
with something.
pulling out my credit card, which is already insanely easy.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would be doing that, just because I'm a little bit of the paranoid person. Like, I'm the guy that puts tape over my camera on my laptop because I'm like, who the hell's going to be turning this on whenever I'm alone in my hotel room on the road when I'm working and stuff like that. But
The guy who
yeah.
got a new debit card.
anyway,
Fraud.
we're not even going there. We're not even going there. Point is, bottom line, no, I would not get any kind of commercial anything implanted in me that would be basically alive and allow anyone to track me or use it to make purchases. Like, the whole point of doing it would be, it makes it so much easier and more secure. That's the thing. They're gonna
it's gonna be sold
secure.
as
security. Like,
Right.
no one else can steal this. Okay, fantastic. Well, it's really easy for me to call the bank and say, I lost my card or it got compromised. Give me a new one. And it's really easy to pull out my wallet and pay for a purchase. So that to me is not a good enough selling point to put something, permanently in my skin.
right.
No thanks.
Plus, it's gonna be usually in a location, like a ubiquitous location. Like it's gonna be in the same location in everybody. Like
Right,
we're gonna put it in the
right.
back of your
Everyone's gonna know
wrist or something like that, or
it
in your
goes-
palm. So
whatever.
Some thief wants
Sure.
your entire identity and all your bank
You chop
account
your arm off
information.
and take
Just
it with them.
boom, chop your hand off and you're done. That didn't make life easier at all.
No,
I got
it
a
didn't.
stump now.
We're gonna have some Mr. Norman Jurassic Park type crap. Your whole arm, walking down the street with it over your shoulder.
Okay, all right. Clerk at 7-Eleven. If some guy walks in, tries to pay for a beer with someone else's hand,
Yeah. Pretty good idea.
probably
That
stolen.
It's probably stolen.
Probably stolen. And with that, that's going to end Geek Therapy Radio. Yeah, Nate can play us out. I won't play my usual out.
You want to play out?
I'll play out.
You play out. You play out.
This
There
was
we go.
Geek
I'm gonna
Therapy
hand it over.
Radio. I've been Johnny Hamburger. That's been Nate next to me.
Appreciate
Tune in
you
next week.
having me on.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Geek Therapy Radio, on for the first episode of the entire year. Geek Therapy Radio Facebook.
Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube.
Do you tweet?
Yeah,
No.
Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. But like I said, I don't ever check the Twitter,
Yeah.
and it's linked to the Instagram. So like
So who cares?
everything I
Ignore
put on
that.
Instagram goes on Twitter. Everybody has Twitter, but
don't
whatever.
know.
I just
I've
don't
never
use
been a
Twitter that
tweet
much.
For the Jack fans out there.
He's singing.
Thank you for tuning in to Geek Therapy Radio. We'll be back next week.
Yeah.